Thank you, Rafael, for inviting me to this panel to present this case. Well, as Rafael says, at the present, I'm the Dean of the Faculty of Communications of Uniminuto. And I'm going to present it to you as a case. What is Uniminuto? Well, Uniminuto is the largest private university in Colombia at this moment. Some statistics. We have 85,000 students in 9 cities and 42 municipalities. We have 5 faculties with 32 academic programs, 1 virtual university, and 7 research centers. And our faculty is 3,000 students, the largest in Colombia, 220 professors and researchers, 8 academic programs in communications, a center for communications research, and a school for development media. It makes us a huge program. This is the map of Colombia, so you can see there how our university gets into every place almost. The south part of our map is the Amazonia, and it's not very well inhabited, so that's why you see blank there. Next. So what I would like to present today is how Uniminuto has built a university model that combines and connects the academic dimension with the needs and demands of society and community. What have we learned from it, and in what stage are we? It seems like the clue thing is, what does Uniminuto mean? The name in Spanish is Universidad Minuto de Dios, which means in English, Minute of God University. So how come you call a university with this name? It's not a Christian university, it's a secular university. So perhaps if we go back to the story of history, that built up in Colombia a patrimony that of development, social development, and economic change. In 1953, a priest of the Catholic Congregation of Jesus and Mary started a fundraising campaign because there were a lot of people that were refugees from one of our civil wars. You know, Colombia in the 20th and 21st century have had always a civil war. One of them was finished by the beginning of the 50s, and there were lots of people coming into the main city, mainly to Bogota, the capital. So this priest starting this fundraising campaign, and he decided that was a good idea to go into the radio and call the rich people for help. So what he did. And he got the opportunity of broadcasting a 1-minute program at prime time, 7 o'clock in the afternoon news every day. So it was so successful that he got, a lot of money that he invested in creating an ONG. First, it was an ONG. After a few years, in 1957, the television started in Colombia. So he saw that an opportunity, and he went into the television and asked for a minute. They got 3 minutes. And since then, for the past 60 years, we have had this program on TV. The name of the program is El Minuto de Dios, and is the most well-known program we have in our TV. For the past 60 years, 64 years in fact, through this program, he had created the Corporación Minuto de Dios, which is a huge patrimony of Colombia as a model of development for change. So we had different programs on it. The most important one is the housing programs. Because when all these poor people come to the cities, they don't have where to live, so they live in the margins, what we call barriadas, and it is a very awful place. So he started working with these housing projects outside of the city. Then they come schools and health centers and some economic projects for small enterprises. And in 1990, they start this university that really arises from the community needs. It also, in 4 years later, they start a communications program, and with it started the Faculty of Communications that from the very beginning, it was oriented to, of course, development and change. It was looked at that time as a participatory communications department that really wanted to work with the people, not quite in the mass media, but in other opportunities of communications. So we are celebrating this year at 20 years of existence as a faculty. Now is, as I told you, the largest one in Colombia. What are our lessons from this experience for the past 20 years? I have found, I'm going to highlight 4 of these important lessons that we can share with other universities. One of them is what we call a knowledge dialogue. One of the things that why universities become so important in the society is because it's supposed that there in universities is where it arises the scientific knowledge. But sometimes scientific knowledge keeps everything. And universities are, obsessed with this scientific knowledge, pushing everybody to produce it, and very formal researches, and you earn points in front of your Ministry of Education if you produce more and more books. Well, I think this is very important. I am not saying that it's not. But what Uniminuto thinks is that not only scientific knowledge is important for our university, but people's knowledge, the knowledge that arises from everyday lives and from activities that gather people and organize them. So our first lesson is how to build conditions and scenarios to have this dialogue knowledge arises, and how that in that area we can really work together with community and society needs in particular and focused topics. The second is praxeology. This is a very important thing we have cleared up in these years. Praxeology is a method of research, but also a pedagogy in which people learn from doing. So first are practices, and from them we research and we grow this knowledge that combines scientific and everyday knowledge together. Then we also found that social innovation in social sciences is also a very important strategy, because all these development models that we had in 20th century in Latin America, but also in Colombia, were not success. We are still poor, we are still undeveloped. So that might be a way to erase other proposals, and we think the right way is asking the people and pushing them to innovate from the point where they are standing up. And the last one is the importance of systematize and evaluate in a participatory framework with the people with whom we are working. Communities, neighborhoods, rural and urban areas. We always have this discussion and this debate in our university in how we avoid being social scientists going into communities and make, this scientific knowledge using them. So now what we propose is just to work with them as colleagues. Okay, so which are our challenges? Well, the first one and most important, yeah, I'm finishing, is the post-conflict in Colombia. In this particular moment, there is a peace process in Cuba, in fact, and all Colombians have very clear that perhaps we will sign down this peace process in a political level. But we Colombians are the ones who are going to build up reconciliation and peace for the future. And we think this is our main challenge in this moment for our community, our communications faculty and society and the university. And the second is how can we strengthen our capacity building more and more? Because we think that the main objective of university is through our students and our professionals have an impact, very important impact in our society. Thank you very much.